Hello and welcome along to the VGTA Championship. We're back at the Virtual Racing Championship here on Project Cars 2 as ever. The first round is at Silverstone Classic GP, followed by a number of other rounds at some fantastic circuits. So qualifying for the first round looks like this. Chris Doherty is followed by Loopy McGee in P2. Then we have Roger the Dodger there in P3. And then the first of the Ferraris, D-Man, the Irishman in P4 there, ahead of Alex CDL in the Mustang. On the third row, we've got Free Gazelle. Following that, we've got P7, the Scuderia San on the last row. So, the lights now counting down for the first race of this new championship, and it's go. And a fantastic start there through the middle of the Camaro, it looks like, of Roger the Dodger, and followed by the Irishman, D-Man 221 in the Ferrari, and then Chris Doherty in the Jag there on the outside. The Jag seem to have a lot of pace in qualifying. Let's see if they can use it to pick their way through now in the race. Not the best starts for the Jags there. And then right at the end, we've got a very squirrely Free Gazelle, just about hangs on to that car, but that's let Scuderia San through into 6th now. Chris Doherty is on the hunt. He's diving down the inside to the first of the hard braking zones of this race. Oh, and he gets clobbered in the back there by Loopy McGee, the Scotsman, and the Ferrari there just giving a nudge up the rear there just to try and say, oh, get on with it. Free Gazelle now is doing some donuts for the fan favourite award, and hopefully he gets going again soon, but those tyres are going to be very slippery now, having been on the grass. Alex CDL is promoted up into 2nd after all of that. Chris Doherty is still in 3rd, followed by Loopy McGee, but it's D-Man 221 out ahead in the Ferrari, leading the way, and it's a 15-minute race here. So anything can still happen at this historic Silverstone circuit. And joining me in the commentary today is Alex CDL. What do you make of that, Alex?
A scrappy start between the two Jags, but a great start from man in first place, D-Man in the Ferrari, and the Camaro. Not really sure what happened to Roger, whether he spun out, but he's down in 6th now, just in front of Free Gazelle. So see the cars go through the just under the old bridge now, which very different layout compared to the brand new Silverstone that's currently going.
Absolutely, yeah. Those curbs, I think, through this last bit can be a little bit treacherous, but you can see Alex CDL riding them nicely then. He's got a really good exit now out of here. The Mustang is a very powerful car in a straight line. It is the heaviest of all the cars here. However, it's a classic American muscle car, and if he can get close to that Ferrari coming out of the corners, which he has done now, he might have a run. As they head down now out of Cops Corner, and they're going down into the first of the really, really hard braking zones on the circuit, once again on the second lap. Is he going to go for a dive? I think D-Man 221 is covering the inside there, but yeah, this is bringing the Jags now into play as well, and they've been quick here, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been really quick here, just because of this backstretch now off this left-hander. I think it's the old, the old Maggots Beckett's going down. Is it Stowe? I'm not too good with my corner names, but you just see how
down to Stowe.
See how fast that Jag is, just closing in. It's terrible on the brakes, so you can see that's where the Ferrari and Mustang really gains an advantage, but not when getting the tail like that. And look at the Jag just closing right in, like getting past him on the next corner. That's where the brakes really falter, and see just how hard they're all pushing. Alex up ahead, almost sliding the car through the corner, but here we go around the outside. It's going to be a tricky overtake if he tries it. Yeah, I think it's better of it and backs out.
Chris Doherty in a number 52 Jaguar there, looking right round the outside, and it's a three-way scrap for the lead now. Ferrari, Mustang, Jaguar, and the Jag now down the inside. There's no chance he's going to be passing anything on the brakes, I reckon. And the Alex CDL round the outside now, and he narrowly avoids taking out Dara. Dara stays on the straight and narrow, carries on, and there's a little bit of a coming together between Chris and Alex, these old rivals of this championship. And look at the power of the Jag now as he comes through, but on the brakes, like we were saying, it's not so good. It's probably be better off without any brakes, this thing. They're pretty much useless, aren't they? And oh no, Dara is spun in the Ferrari. Oh, and they somehow avoid him. And he's on the grass now. He gets going again. And it just goes to show how tricky these cars are to drive. No downforce. Oh, and still a fight going on for the lead there. But Chris has muscled his way through on the muscle car.
Yeah, really unfortunate. Oh, Alex on the inside. Chris goes really wide and deep in race. Oh, Alex is already spun. That was bound to happen at some point. But from going from a three-way battle to now Chris on his own, he'll be loving that as he scarpers away down the backstretch.
Yeah, which car would you like to be driving around this circuit, Al?
From the looks of it, the Jaguars is the one in P1 and P3, and see Luke McGee now up to 3rd place in the other British Racing Green. It's just that V12 is so powerful on the straights, it's going to be hard for anything to catch up, and we see now Scuderia Sam chasing Free Gazelle and the other American muscle that's in the Chevrolet Camaro, like I said earlier. Sam in the Ferrari, is it 358? You're the Ferrari expert.
Yeah, the 354 Competizione, Daytona winner, of course, from the early 70s. And he's talking of V12s. This is the other car with the V12, the Ferrari here, getting on the inside now of who's that? Free Gazelle. So Free Gazelle has made up some ground after his little grass cutting earlier on in the race, and he's now 6th place. He's ahead of Rogers. So Rogers had a real disaster at the start of this race, by the way, but for some reason. But Scuderia Sam now is through up into 5th place, and he's a good 5 seconds off Dara. So that might be as far as he can go. And these two are having a great little scrap for 5th and 6th here.
Yeah, going really well. It looks like the Ferrari runs really wide there. That's going to give the Camaro an opportunity. Back in its slipstream, having a quick peek. Sam and the Ferrari covering off the other side. Will Free Gazelle have a look around the other side? I think it's better a bit. The brakes on that Camaro aren't so good, especially compared to the V12 Ferraris. But it looks like they are catching Alex up ahead. So it looks like Alex has had another incident off camera, and he's down to 4th.
Yeah, it's a good spot, Alex, and you can see that Mustang drifting its way through. Oh, I think he's lost it coming out of that corner. Has he? Has he lost it? Yes, he has lost it, and he's doing some grass cutting now, and Free Gazelle and Scuderia Sam go past, so 6th place for Alex, and Roger the Dodger will be coming through very quickly. And now look at the fight for the lead. It's Chris Doherty and D-Man 221, so the two Irishmen now having an Irish skirmish at the front of the field. And look at Dara like squiggling that Ferrari through there. I don't know, Chris must have had an incident because he was out in the lead, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I'm not sure what's happened there. Oh, going to break that Ferrari got a bit squirrely, but yeah, must have had a bad one to where he is now. As you see, got to think I got a bit confused as we're on board with Loopy. It's Loopy in 3rd place, and Chris is still out ahead.
Oh, sorry, yeah. My fault. Luke McGee though on the brakes now, hard on the brakes. He's probably pushing his foot through the floor trying to get that thing stopped. And this battling going on might bring Scuderia Sam and Free Gazelle into play here as well, because they're not far behind at all. But can Luke McGee, the Scotsman, get past the Irishman now to make it a Jaguar 1-2? He's going down the inside. I think D-Man has seen him, but he's trying to try and brave it around the outside. Now it's very close racing between the two of them, especially when these cars are so difficult to drive and sliding around. So a great bit of skill from the both of them there. Still no contact at the moment, but I don't want to speak too soon. D-Man now hard on the brakes, and McGee hard on the brakes as well. He's going to have to try and get a good run out of this onto the hangar straight, and he might get him, but he's run a little bit wide here, so he has to wait to get on the throttle. But you might just have done enough here. We'll have to wait and see what happens as they head down to Stowe now.
Yeah, this is where the Jag really comes to play. It's definitely the strongest car around here. When we get to the twistier tracks, I don't think it'll be as dominant, but look at that. Just has to. Yeah, the brake is just so poor. You can't even just throw it down the inside because you know it won't get stopped for the corner in time. And he's lost about 2 car lengths there, just having to be cautious, and it allows the Ferrari to just get away a bit. The Ferrari does look pretty good, of course, but you see the Jag wallowing a bit, not hitting the apexes. But just watch it down on this stretch here. Maybe not the corner, but it'll just reel that Ferrari in like it's absolutely nothing.
Yeah, both V12 of course, so it's interesting, different types of car setup, because they've got similar engines, similar horsepower as well. Oh, and locking up now. Luke McGee, he hits the fences, but he's just about avoided those rather stiff tyre walls and keeps the thing pointing straight and narrow just about. And this is Alex CDL now, and Roger the Dodger closing in on Free Gazelle. What's happened to Scuderia Sam? He's spun out or something. He's down in 7th now. So the other Ferrari not having such a good day of it. But Alex CDL in the Mustang. I love that livery, by the way, that he's got going on. That silver with blue stripes. It's very classic looking design on that Mustang. And he's riding that curve nicely now, and he gets very close to the back of Free Gazelle, and Free Gazelle's out. He's spun. He spun out onto the grass, and he's going to fall all the way back down to 7th now. I don't know if that was some contact between the two of them, or if he just got on the loud pedal a bit too eagerly. But that means now Free Gazelle's down in 7th, and we're more than halfway through this race. So it's amazing actually how the positions have changed so much in just 7 or 8 minutes of this race. It's pretty much all still up for grabs.
Yeah, really good. Oh, you see that Mustang, Alex's fighting it.
Yeah. In
the corners, it's just shaking its rear end. But this is a classic battle between the two American brands, Chevrolet versus Ford. This is a big thing over in America, but Ford currently beating both Chevrolets, but Roger's really looking at the inside, but they just struggle around the corners.
Yeah, we got the battle of the V12s up in second and third, and it looks like we got the battle of the V8s here in the fifth and fourth. And one of the yellow machine now is going through in his V8, just ahead of Alex CDL. Alex CDL tucks back in to get advantage of the slipstream, and he's going to try and hopefully, for his sake, dive down on the inside of the tight chicane. This is a good feature of this circuit. This overtaking opportunities pretty much every corner, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can see how bumpy it is on that back piece, which really upsets the braking. The cars dive, but you can't really set it up nicely for an overtake. But if you get a good enough exit, you can really attack into the first corners. We've seen a couple of moves now, especially by the Jaguars.
A spit of flame there at the side of the number 4 Mustang up on 2 wheels. Looks like he's having fun in that car anyway. He's already been in the adventures. Well, both these drivers have. It's only the first round of the championship, so there's a lot of races still to come. And it's completely up for grabs who's going to be taking the title at the end of the championship. There's a long way to go to be thinking about that. Right now, coming through now onto the hanging straight, Alex CDL just about hang on to the back of that car, but to be honest, it looks like Roger might have just a little bit too much pace at this stage anyway.
It looks it.
And it's quite interesting that nobody's picked. So what have we got? Ferrari, Mustang, Chevrolet, Jag. I'm pretty sure there's a Datsun, and there's also
a Porsche.
What's the other one? A Porsche, a Beetle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think smaller grid at the moment, and you can tell. I think people have just chosen what their favourites are. Imagine when a few more drivers come in, there will be a few more definitely Porsches. The Datsun isn't very strong. It's more of a tighter course. Well,
it's a micro.
Yeah, it's more for like the tighter tracks around here. Just get eaten up, especially by this thing here. Chris Doherty going through first corner in first place.
Gee, I've never known how to pronounce his name. Is it Doherty or Doherty?
I say Doherty.
Doherty. Yeah, we'll have to ask him. I don't know why we've not asked him that. But anyway, Smooth Talker Chris is out in the lead still by 14 seconds, pretty much dominating this at the moment, unless he has an issue or just throws it away. I think he's got this one wrapped up. So classic commentator's curse there. Meanwhile, I did say Roger looked like he had the upper hand, but Alex CDL has closed right back in again. So these two drivers, as ever, are pretty evenly matched, and the two of the fastest drivers as well in the league. They're constantly getting pole positions between the two of them. And I'm sure we'll see them up front fighting for the win as well at some point in this championship. But right now, fighting for 4th and 5th, every point matters. Alex CDL just peeking down the inside there. Roger the Dodger wasn't phased though, he just carries on his way. And Roger obviously is quite an experienced virtual racer by now, and he also does a lot of karting in real life, so he certainly knows his way around a racetrack. And Alex CDL has been a stalwart of this championship, right from back in the start that we did it back in pandemic, wasn't it? Alex CDL certainly knows his way around the circuit too, especially online. So yeah, these two very evenly matched and giving us plenty of action here.
Yeah, the field's quite spread out. This seems to be the only battle at the moment, especially with first being, like I said, 13 seconds, 12 seconds up ahead of the Ferrari. But it looks like they're catching the second Jag up front. It definitely wasn't that close before.
Yeah, interesting. Look, G there is 20 seconds more or less now behind Chris Doherty in the same car. I don't think he'd be too happy with that, considering how much he seems to like that Jaguar. But maybe Chris has just got his head around the circuit very well. But like you say, Alex, it's definitely catching. These two are definitely catching Luca McGee right now. So it's going to be a fight for a three-way fight now for the podium.
Oh, who's that? Yeah, Luca going wide. He's really not settled with that car at the moment. He lost a good chunk of time, a second, and now they're right on him.
Yeah, I mean, put your money on any one of these three for the podium. I've got no idea, Alex. And Scuderia Sam's only 5 seconds behind too. And Luke McGee has been looking in his mirrors, but Roger Dodger and Alex CDL bearing down on him now as they come onto the straight. They're not going to see that Jaguar, I think, by the end of the straight. But by the time he gets on the brakes, they might.
Yeah, they're all using the slipstream. Alex diving in to the left, trying to get the slipstream of the Jaguar. Roger covers it off nicely. All going into the corner. Yeah, just see how slow the Jag is around that. It really isn't helping. It doesn't help when you're on the grass as well. And now it's a 3-0 battle for the last podium position. And that Ferrari in the background starting to show its nose as well. You just probably see it in some of the shots. Oh, Jag goes wide, really wide. That's Roger through, Alex through. That's a disaster for the green machine of Luke McGee.
Look at the size difference between them. You can tell which two are the American cars, can't you? Which one's the British car?
Yeah, I don't think it helps that that's the lightweight version of the E-Type. That's why it's got no canopy and just a roll hoop. So it's probably one of the lightest cars here. That's why it's so good down the stretch.
Yeah, that's a good point, that. But it looks like, unfortunately for Luke McGee, he's now demoted to 5th place. So we'll have to hope that Alex Idiel and Roger the Dodger come together. And they are prone to the odd incident or two and the odd spin or two, aren't they? So perhaps Luke McGee now is wishing for that. Oh, Luke McGee, though, has done it himself. He's dropped it. He's on the grass, and now he's going to have his wing mirrors full of... does he have wing mirrors, actually, on that thing? Yeah, little ones. Wing mirrors full of a red Ferrari. So it's on the last lap now. Chris Doherty just wondering where on earth is everyone. It looks like he's out for just a time trial by himself, just waving to the crowd, the virtual crowd. And yeah, a very nice, pleasant race for Chris Doherty there. Yeah,
it's probably this is a classic championship, and it seems to be quite historically accurate with the Jags going well around the British tracks, especially here. It's still the case now as we see the other Jaguar. Oh, that's a big punt off by Sam. That's a bit naughty. There's covering, and then there's that.
That was yeah. I mean, these two always come together, don't they? In some way or another. I don't know. Yeah, that was a bit much from Scuderia Sam there. I think he was a bit naughty, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some strong words from Luke McGee as they come into the last few corners. But Chris Doherty has won the race, and D-Man as well is coming out to the last few corners, but 16 seconds behind us.
Yeah, dominant win there by Chris, but it's something we expect now. As we see D-Man nice and easy. Just
what's happened to Alex and Roger? What?
Yeah, that's a good point. They were in third and fourth place, but they've fallen back behind Scuderia Sam. So whether they're battling and crashed, and talk of crash, that's the Ferrari round. And Roger comes home in fourth place, fifth. As I think that's Luca getting his own back. As in the tail end, we have Freakazoid coming across the line right now.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, you see that broken bits of car, upside down cars, whatever, on the start line. Quite a tradition, to be honest. But quite close overall. I mean, obviously 50 seconds isn't that close, but really, considering the different types of cars and everything, that wasn't too bad, actually.
Yeah, it was a good race in the end. Battles all over the shop, but you see the championship standards, and we're on to our first. Well, at the end of the first race, and we head to Zolder next. So a nice tricky circuit that should hold the Jags back.
Yeah, very tight corners in Zolder. Another classic circuit as well. So we can't wait to be there. We can't wait to see what happens next. So join us next time. From Alex and myself, thanks for watching, and see you then.